Howdy everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Malenia's Arsenal, the series where we fight Malenia and NG7 with every single weapon. In this episode, we'll be using Rellana's Twin Blades, another DLC weapon. Before we get into it, I'd just like to ask you guys if you would please leave a like if you enjoy the video, comment if you want to help choose what's next, and subscribe if you want to see more. Anyway, let's get into it, shall we? Let's see. A Carrion light greatsword embedded with the blue glintstone. Weapon of Rellana, the Twin Moon Knight. Two swords as a single armament. When two-handing, a straight sword engraved with golden flame will be carried in the left hand. Here and here alone were moon and fire ever together. The only thing to note is that it's basically a new version of Sword and Light and Flame, where you have to two-hand it, but you get access to a magic, by the way. Here and here alone were moon and fire ever together. That's just not true with... Anyway. Basically, the weapon arts have a fire and a magic attack. R1 is the light, is the magic. R2 is the fire. They are okay. The only reason why you actually spec into magic is magic or faith, interfaith, is to gain access to stronger versions of the weapon arts. Otherwise, you actually want to build this like a quality weapon. It's equal scaling strength and dex. Pretty close together, at least. I think they all scale the same, possibly. The issue with the fact that even if it has equal scaling on int and faith, the numbers are so much lower that you lose out on a lot of damage by speccing into those. Most of the time, what you want to do is just use the first two sets of R1s. As you can see, they have really good range. They proc Godskin Swaddling Cloth, which I'm using this time. Wow, that she threaded the needle on that one, kind of like how I do with her usually. Anyway, this weapon's fine. I think you're better off, though, getting like two Miladies if you really want. Oh my god, dude. What happened there? I went to do two R1s, but I don't mash R1 when I'm trying to do combos. I try to time it, and unfortunately, more this with any other weapon have I felt that hitting R1 to time the second R1 feels jank, and I just got hit because of that. Unfortunate, but true. As you can see, the physical damage is like 500, and then you've got almost 360 magic instead, or of split damage, two ways. Split damage like this is usually kind of terrible. I don't know if you guys remember if you guys saw my Sword of Night and Flame video or not, but you don't want to split damage if you don't have to. It hurts the weapon more than it helps usually. I can show off the weapon art at some point. The magic one is really cool, but requires 1,000 FP to cast. And then the fire one is still treated as a projectile, which means it's not very good against Malenia, because she'll just kick you out of it instantly. That cross attack, if you began with that cross attack, I think this weapon would be outrageously strong. But because you start with the two stabs, it ends up being a lot weaker, because these stabs are slower. Oh my god, dude. Also, they're like greatswords, but they bounce on her just blocking, her blocking effect. Which is so sad, dude. I don't know. I think these weapons are fine, but for a boss weapon, they pale in comparison to, like, the Milady. Other thing to note is that with the Milady, you can still spec into light or magic or fire. You're not split both ways. But also, you get the two-handed light greatsword moveset, which is so much better than the one-handed moveset. Yeah, you just walk away from that. Wow, I was so close. That hit me. That first R1 is a thrust attack, though. That's true. So you get bonus damage on that, right? Bonus counter hit damage, I should specify. But when it does like 700 damage a swing, I don't know. She's going crazy with these waterfowls today, by the way. The run attack is good. especially since it follows up into the cross attack. And if you really want, you can also hit R2 instead of R1, and that actually is a good combo starter. And it puts you into like the final attack of the R1s, which is a really good combo as well. Issue with it against Malenia is that right there. She will just fall out of it. And if she decides to fall out of it, she just gets armor and makes you bounce and it cancels your whole combo. That's a Malenia issue though over like any other boss. I don't know why I healed that off. But anyway, this weapon's alright. I think Milady is just better than it though, is the thing. Also, as you can see, it's causing Malenia to dodge way more than like any other weapon would. I should have just beat her up here. That's okay. Alright, phase 1 down. It's not that bad. I mean, it's fine. Issue also is like, luckily only like 40% of your damage comes from split damage. 40 to 60%. But if things resist one or the other, it really hurts you bad. That was dumb of me. Wow. The reason why I went with Godskin Swaddling Cloth is actually just because of the first R1 into R1. Because that alone is enough to heal you. We're gonna run away, because... Okay, if she did attack the clones there, we were in trouble. I really hope you guys can't hear my cat right now. I might have to mute myself, I don't know. That would suck. Sorry I'm not sounding super impressed by this weapon, but I'm really just not, compared to a lot of the other DLC weapons too. 1 second, I'll be right back. I don't know, it's just... It's lackluster compared to... Just even alone just because it has the double split damage. That's just awful, like, anytime something specs into that. Or like, that's good, right? The damage on that is good. And you could run combo bonuses instead of what I'm doing, instead of healing. I've not needed it for the most part even, honestly, as you can see. And, I mean, she died pretty easily. I don't know. I'm not usually a fan of int or faith weapons either. Not as big a fan as just going pure physical damage. And I think this weapon just... I don't know. It's fine. It's good. Sorry I'm so negative about it. I mean, you can compare it to... Here, I think it might be longer, at least. Right? No, it's like the same length. Alright. All of them are practically the same length. The one-handed moveset on the light greatsword is also really bad, I think. R2s are good, and you can hit R2 into R1, and it's like the only weapon class that does that. But starting with R1 to get to those last hits, pretty bad. So you just want to use R2s there instead. The reason why the magic weapon art is so bad is if you use it, it costs 10 to do that, right? But it has more follow-ups. It has 3 follow-ups, so it costs 30 FP to use that weapon art. And the damage is pretty good, especially if you're point blank, but like... There are so many better weapon arts that get... You have better options off of just Milady, where there are some weapon arts that do that kind of damage for a fraction of it and way less uptime on it too. I don't know. I think this weapon's fine. It's just... I don't know. Luckily, the split damage isn't... Well, it's especially weird, right? Because only one sword does magic and one sword does fire. So, you're actually down about 100 AR per sword. 180 AR per sword. It's really weird. I just typically do not appreciate this kind of weapon, I'll tell you that much. I can show off the weapon art, but because I haven't spec'd into Faith, it's going to do very little. Or Int, either one. Alright. I never even thought about rolling to get behind him when he's casting that 5 times. Holy cow. I have learned something new about Gideon on this fight. That's impressive. Oh, you can just pivot. Alright, I love that about NPC fights. Again, that's just me being super negative, I'm sorry. Oh, and he even got that off. Okay. I have learned a very new trick for Gideon. I didn't really think I ever would, honestly. Oh, I get it. And like, I can throw blades at him, but first of all, it's going to cause him to dodge it because he's an NPC. And like, most bosses do that sort of response to it, right? Is where the issue comes in. I get it, you have holy rings, dude. But like, most bosses just dodge inherently on ranged attacks. Alright, you just roll at him once and then you can backstab him. And it costs like 30 FP. And if something... So like, you could say... Okay, well what's the use for the weapon art if it doesn't work on bosses? It works when they're in downtime, so like if Gideon was casting 5 times, I could hit him with this afterwards. That's pretty good, right? I'm sure it does good damage there. Or you have to justify that it's worth it for mobbing in like areas, but like mobbing in this game doesn't really matter much, right? Maybe it does a little bit, but you have the sweeping R2 anyway. Do you swing it all with the other sword on this one? No, you don't. That's funny. You just don't even use your other sword unless you hit R1. I don't know. I'm coming around on it a little bit. I think this kind of spec that I have only shows off the moveset more so than the actual power of it. And if you're... I don't know, let's look at the damage against Godfrey real quick on the weapon art. Because I'm pretty sure if you stack stats for the weapon art, it ends up being a lot better, but you're trading so much damage. Assuming you only have 2 stats that you can even get close to max, right? Like, I can't even do 2 max stats, like 80 soft cap. Whoa. That's how lock-on works in this fight? I thought I was going to try running past it for once. Maybe if you're not locked on. So like this one clips him for like no damage, yeah. It hits 3 times for 600 damage. Whereas the other one, if I start using it here, he's gonna dash at me, right? No, I was close enough to have him attack instead. But let's hit him up close. Just to kind of see the damage. Whereas if I hit R1 twice, I already get basically the same damage, but that's because I'm not spec'd to int, right? I think. The jump attack's really good. I have just seen. Jumping R1 is at least. Okay. And you could probably shoot at him here. That sort of thing, right? It is a ranged attack, obviously. So it has its benefits. Oh my god, dude. Oh, I should have died for that one. Oh, I rolled so late on that? That's okay. I just think your best attack is the second R1 that you get on this thing. That's the hardest thing to access. I forgot it hits like that in phase 2, honestly. Just a lapse of memory. Yeah, you can just sidestep that. Alright, so phase 2. I mean, like, this is handling him fine, right? Alright. Man, that looks so weird when he does that attack. You ever notice the way he puts his arm, like, he preps his one arm with the other? That's weird. Maybe I just don't appreciate, like, greatswords enough, dude. You don't try to dodge that, you just tank it. You can't be too close or it actually hits you there. Alright. Same with that. You have to... You don't want to roll it because it actually gives you less time for recovery. That's okay. Man, this thing does chip damage to him when it's like that. I'm taking that one. Oh well. That hit me. That's so sad. I'm not a big fan of this weapon, and I think part of it is not liking greatswords, unfortunately. I know it's a fantastic weapon class, and it's great with the weapon arts, and there are good weapon arts for it, but I'm not a fan of this weapon art, at least. Wait, you can hit L1 to just swing. Wait, what? Wait, what? I thought it just would block. I thought it did block. Wait, you got a straight sword moveset with this? Hold on. That changes a lot for this. Not for this fight. Actually, it might. Hold on one. Alright. Beyond that, though, I mean, like, I guess we can go check out some other bosses, shall we? We can try it against Rellana, I guess. I imagine it's going to be absolutely bad against her because she's magic resistant already. And she has water in her room, so she's fire resistant already. And it does slash damage? Standard damage. Okay. Well, that's good at least. Oh, nice. Very nice. That was on me, not her. I don't know. The damage is actually fine here. At least we get yellow damage on her for most of these. Personally, I have a lot to learn with Rellana still. That she just looks tedious to fight, and I know that's not fair to say because, like, I learned Malenia. I think you can sidestep both of those. I just haven't yet. Oh, that clipped me too. Alright. Yeah, like those moves where she crosses the entire field. It feels tedious to me. And this is just... Maybe I'm just getting a little unhappy because of the weapon, honestly. That would not surprise me. I also don't like that you have to roll this. You can't jump it. When, like, everything else about her is, like, dodgeable using, like, positioning really easily, apparently. This attack's evil. Oh. I don't know why. I feel like those home so much better than normal carry and things. I think I might just like the L1s more, because it's a straight sword, right? I'm just panic rolling, unfortunately. I mean, the damage on the L1s are actually really, really good here. This is about where I get her in like every attempt so far that I've had. Whoops, yeah, and then she does like that and I die. Anyway, that's probably where I'm going to call it. Let's see how long I've been going. 20 minutes? Yeah, it's a pretty good time. I'm sorry to say, I think I just... So look at this. I mean, I do actually like that you got a straight sword moveset. And I think that's really powerful. But I look at the moveset of the Milady instead. That moveset's really good. You'd think, why isn't two of those better? And it's just because it's slower, dude. This moveset ends up being outrageously good. You can still make a fire, too. Or, like, you could just run a fire and a magic Milady. Because I think that's the only buffable greatsword. And you'd probably get better returns out of it, too, just because... Well, for one, you don't have to give yourself faith scaling on your fire, right? You could just do, like... Just fire? Yeah. I don't know if that'd be very good. It is lower. What you have... 350 plus 350 instead. That's 700. Compared to... Say 500 plus 180. It is basically the same thing, right? And then you don't even have to spec into faith, but you still get... But you still get the good fire damage. I don't know. Maybe I don't know enough about light greatswords yet, and I'm calling them early. This one's probably good too, and the weapon art seems pretty good. I think. I know a lot of people like this weapon class. I think I'm just not one of them. Like, they look cool when they swing, but they don't swing like any faster than a greatsword, right? Am I crazy to think that? Like, it's a little bit faster, but... I don't know, I think I'm just being picky and not liking them. That's my bad, guys. I will probably choose a weapon I'm a little bit more of a fan of next time. Anyway, I guess they are literally lighter as well, huh? So that's nice. I will see you guys next time, though. Bye. Thank you for watching, though. Bye.